Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something that runs almost every large company network you've ever used, but you've probably never seen it. We're talking about the silent, tireless organizers that keep digital chaos from taking over. Active Directory domain controllers. And the best way to think about them? They're basically the librarians of your company's digital world.
I mean, seriously, just think about that for a second. You've got thousands of people logging in, grabbing files, using printers, all at the same time. How does your computer actually know you are who you say you are? How does it find the right server in a sea of thousands? Without a really powerful system organizing everything behind the scenes, it would be pure, absolute anarchy. And that's the central problem we're going to solve today.
So, here's our roadmap. First, we're going to meet the network's brain, the basic domain controller. Then we'll see how it levels up to become a kind of universal search engine for a huge company. After that, we'll get into how it keeps the rules to prevent all that chaos we talked about. We'll meet the 5 master librarians who have very specific jobs. And finally, we'll tie it all together to see why this whole system is so incredibly important.
All right, let's dive right in with that brain. At the absolute heart of all this is a machine with a very, very important job.
So a domain controller, or a DC as you'll hear it called, is basically a server that's running Active Directory. Its whole job is to manage its own little corner of the network, which we call its domain. And just like a head librarian knows every single book, every member, and all the rules for their specific branch, a DC manages all the user accounts, all the computers, and all the security policies for its domain. When you log in, you're essentially just showing your library card to this librarian.
Okay, but what happens when your company has offices, or, library branches, all over the planet? You can't just be an expert in your own little branch. You gotta have a way to find stuff everywhere else, right? And this is a huge challenge. Let's say you need to email someone in the Tokyo office. Your computer can't just start yelling across the network, asking every single server in the company one by one. That would be unbelievably slow and just clunky. You need something better. You need a master index, a universal search engine for the entire organization.
And this is where Active Directory gets really, really clever. It designates certain domain controllers to become global catalog servers. See, a regular DC is a local expert, right? But a global catalog server, well, that's like the librarian who has the master card catalog for the entire library system. It doesn't know every single word in every book, but you better believe it knows the title, author, and location of every single item, no matter which branch it's in. And the way it works is just so elegant. The global catalog server keeps a full, detailed copy of its own local domain. But for every other domain in the company, it only stores a partial copy. This partial set only has the most important, frequently searched stuff, like a username, an email address, the greatest hits. This keeps it super lightweight and incredibly fast. It is, for all intents and purposes, that perfect universal search engine for the whole network. Okay, so we're good. We can find anyone and anything. But now we have another problem. With hundreds of these librarians all over the place, all with the power to make changes, how do we keep everything in order and stop them from stepping on each other's toes?
I mean, just imagine 2 different IT admins trying to reset your password at the exact same millisecond, or 2 different servers trying to create a new user account with the exact same name. Which one is right? Who wins? This kind of conflict would totally corrupt the database. You absolutely have to have a single source of truth.
And the solution to this is a special set of rules called operations masters. You might also hear them called FSMO roles. These are highly specialized domain controllers that are given the sole authority over very specific, very sensitive tasks. So for certain critical operations, only one server in the entire network gets to make the final call. That way, you never, ever get conflicting changes.
And we're not talking about dozens and dozens of these. To manage the entire system and prevent all those conflicts, Active Directory relies on just 5 unique operations master roles. That's it.
So who are they? It's time to meet this elite team of 5 specialist librarians who keep the entire system from falling into disarray. So 2 of these roles operate across the entire company, the whole forest, as it's called. You've got the schema master, who's like the ultimate rule maker, defining what can even exist in the library. Then there's the domain naming master. Think of this one as the director who has to approve any new library branches being built. The other 3 work inside a single domain or branch. The RID master is the clerk handing out unique library card numbers to every user. The PDC emulator is the final authority on passwords, the one everyone has to double-check with. And finally, the infrastructure master is like the archivist, keeping track of things that move between branches so nothing gets lost. So why? Why go through all this trouble? Why create this incredibly intricate hierarchy of librarians and specialists? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. It's to prevent the entire system from collapsing into total chaos. This entire structure gives you a network that just works. It guarantees consistency so you see the same correct information no matter where you log in from. It completely eliminates those conflicts we were worried about. It makes your login fast and reliable every single time. And maybe most importantly, it lets a company scale from just 10 employees to hundreds of thousands without the whole system just breaking down. At the end of the day, it all comes back to this one idea. This whole carefully designed system of roles and responsibilities is pretty much the only thing standing between a functioning global network and a complete and utter digital meltdown.
So the next time you type your password and your mouse is hovering over that enter button, just take a second and think about that complex, invisible dance of librarians and specialists and master catalogs all working together in perfect harmony just to let you in.